This video outlines how to configure and create reservations using the Reservation Management module in Workplace Service Delivery. The first step is to list all of your offices throughout the organization. Using the left filter navigator, type in Safety Management. Then scroll down to find Space Administration. Start by selecting Region. Select New. Type in the name of the region in which the building you are wanting to create is located. Then hit Submit. Next, you are going to want to create a site. Give this site a name, then select the name of the region you have previously created. Then hit Submit. Continue to add a new campus. Create a new campus by giving it a name, and then linking it to the region and site you have created. Then hit Submit. You are then going to want to create a building. Select New, create a new building. Give this building a name and then make sure you link it to the region, site, and campus you have previously created. You can go ahead and make this building reservable by selecting Is Reservable on the right side of the screen. You can also add the time zone. This is used when making a reservation. The user will be informed in what time zone the building is located, and the reservation will be made locally in that time zone. Before creating spaces and rooms, make sure you create a floor. For that, select Floor. Create a new floor. Give this floor a name. Then attach it to the region, site, campus, and building you have previously created. Tick the Is Reservable box if you would like this floor to be reservable. Then hit Submit. Once the floor has been created, you can go ahead and create an area. This is optional. Select New. Give this new area a name. And then you are going to link it to the region, site, campus, building, and floor you have just created. Select Is Reservable to make this area reservable. You can also decide on the capacity of this area. Hit Submit. The process you have just followed can either be done manually or in a bulk import. To do so, we recommend you download our spreadsheet template and fill it in with the regions, sites, campuses, and buildings you wish to add. You can then upload that information back into the Safety Management module. Let's continue by configuring standard services in order to help the user when they are searching for a space to reserve. You might want to go ahead and detail the items that seem important in a certain space. Standard services could be things like an additional monitor, a printer, or a projector that are always present in a certain space. This way, the user can visualize what each space has before making the reservation. Creating the service before creating the space helps you to identify the different categories you have throughout the organization and avoids duplicates if new ones are created for each space. So let's go ahead and create a new standard service for a space or a room. Go ahead and search for Workplace Reservation in the left filter navigator. Then scroll down to find Standard Services. Select New. Give the service you are creating a name. Then, just below, add a short description of this service. Make sure the active box is ticked. This means that the standard service that you are creating is made available. Next, let's continue by defining the reservable purpose of a space you are going to be creating. Use the left filter navigator to search for Workplace Reservation Management. Then, scroll down to find Reservable Purpose. Create a new one. Give this purpose a name. Then you can add a short description below. Once that is done, hit Submit. Now let's move on to creating a workplace space for reservation. If you have previously set up your campuses, buildings and floors, you can go ahead and create a workplace space. To do so, use the left filter navigator to search for Workplace Reservation. Then scroll down to find Workplace Spaces. You are going to create a new space. Go ahead and create the space by giving it a name. Then select the space type to define the type of space you are creating. You are then going to want to define the capacity of this space. Go ahead and check the Is Reservable box on the right hand side of the screen to make sure the space is reservable. But please note that the floor and building in which this space is located must also be marked down as reservable. You will then add the location hierarchy previously created, meaning the region, the site, the campus, the building, the floor, and the area if created. You can also set requirements for the reservation of this space. It could be a check-in requirement or an approval requirement. Continue the setup of your space by selecting extra information. Here you will be able to choose the reservable quantity, along with adding a short description and an image to this space. Continue editing your space by scrolling down to find Location Purpose. Here you will choose the purpose you have previously created. Make sure that purpose is then on the right hand side of the screen. Then select Save. In a similar way, select Standard Services. Here you will be able to select the services that will be associated with this space. Make sure that the services selected appear on the right side of the screen. Now let's move on to creating a workplace service to provide an extra service to a space. For all services that are not directly available in a space, an extra service needs to be created. Extra services can include the rearrangement of a meeting room, a furniture request if more seats needed in a room, or the possibility to raise an inquiry in certain spaces. For these services, the case management module will be used, seen as further workflows will be triggered to set up the services the user will request. To get started, search for Workplace Case Management Setup. Then scroll down to Workplace Services. Create a new service. Give this service a name. You will then define which case management table will be used for the information. You will continue by defining the fulfillment type, which can be manual, meaning a human response will be needed. It can be service activity, several steps will need to be put in place to complete the request. Or it can be a flow, option to use an existing subflow from the application for fulfillment. Then you are going to go ahead and define the default template. Please note that the active box must be ticked for the service to be active. Then make sure the service is made available for reservation. To allow only single service item selection, tick the remaining box, then complete the setup of the service by adding a description. Then hit Submit. In order to complete the setup of this service, you're going to want to select the items of furniture that can be requested. Select Workplace Service Items. Here you are going to add the items that can be requested. Give the item a name. Select the item type. Make sure you have the correct task table. Then add the default template. The default template can be created under Workplace Case Management in Task Templates. These templates will define all the tasks needed to deliver the service. Make sure the item is available by selecting the active box. You can also add an image of the item along with a description. You can then configure the setup time and cost linked to this item at the bottom of the page. Once your configuration is complete, hit Submit. Now you are going to want to link these additional services to some of your locations. Go ahead and select Workplace Locations. Select Edit. The list of all your locations will appear. You can go ahead and select a floor, a space, a campus, a region, or anywhere where you would like this service to be available. Then hit Save. To complete the setup of the reservation module, let's go ahead and create a reservable module. A reservable module allows you to group together rooms or spaces which are similar. To create a reservable module which will help the user when making a reservation, use the left filter navigator to search for Workplace Reservation. Then scroll down to find Reservable Module. Select New to create a new module. Give this new module a name. You will then add a title which is shown in the module name. You will also give it an inline title which is used in a sentence or in Quick Reservation widget. Once that is done, you can then go ahead and select Order. This will allow you to select the order in which the module will be shown. Make the module active by ticking the active box, and then decide from when the module is active. Then go ahead and select Reservable Table Configuration. You will be able to choose the selection type, meaning either a specific unit, which will display everything in a search, or a container, which will display only certain items. You will then be asked to choose the type of reservable items. By default, it is location. Then select the source table that contains the location data. To help with the search, you can go ahead and add some reservable filters. In this case, I'd be adding a condition in which all items must be reservable. The 2 remaining drop boxes will have to be filled out if container was selected above. Continue by selecting Reservable Module Configuration. Add a short description to the space. Then decide where the space of the module will be reserved from. It could be an advanced reservation, which will only appear on the portal, or a quick reservation, which will appear on the widget on the portal homepage, as shown here. You can then go ahead and add extra settings, such as overriding a checking policy if you have one, applying to a shift, cancelling the reservation if the check-in time has exceeded, enabling group reservation if a user is looking to book a space for himself or a colleague, enabling iCal generation to add the reservation manually into your calendar, enabling whole day reservations. You can also choose how long in advance a reservation can be made. You can also define how many occurrences of the reservation can be made. You can enable Browse Near a Person, which gives the employee the option to select other employees to book near. You can define a search limit, which is the number of spaces that will be returned in a search result. Then select Reservation Widget Configuration. You'll be able to require the subject of a reservation, and you'll also be able to require cancellation notes if ever the reservation is cancelled. You can request to display the number of attendees on the reservation and know by whom a reservation has been made. By ticking the Display Sensitivity box, you can allow the user to set the reservation to normal or private. Scroll down to find User Criteria. Here you'll be able to define the groups of users that can reserve locations that are linked to this module. Then hit Save. Continue to edit the time slots that will be available to the user when making a quick reservation. Continue by selecting Reservable Views. Here you'll be able to select in which views your module will be seen. The views that can be selected are the following. Card View enables the user to visualize each space and its standard services and capacity. Schedule View. This enables the user to visualize the spaces along with their availability. And finally, Map View. This view enables the user to visualize the location of the space on a floor plan. Make sure the views you have selected appear on the right-hand side of the screen, then hit Submit. You will then be able to decide in which order these views appear. Just select the view and edit the order. The default view is displayed in case the employee selects the module to find an available space to reserve. Finally, to complete the setup of your reservable module, select Workplace Location. Click on Edit. Make sure that all the spaces and locations that you have made reservable appear on the right-hand side of the screen. Then hit Save. By following all of these steps, you have been able to create a reservable space which provides standard and workplace services within your organization. A user can now search for this specific space using the reservable module and criteria you have set to make sure they are selecting the space that suits their need. More information can be found via the following channels.